and what they say doesn't necessarily translate to what they do, which is why it's really important to not measure effectiveness by what people are saying. It's important to measure effectiveness by what they're doing. And there's often a disconnect. And it's, by the way, it's human nature. So when I go in, and basically I'm Captain Obvious, because what did I just say? Improve customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, profitability. You know what everybody says when I say that? Duh. And then on the other side, they go, but we don't do that. We do IT, we do HR, we do marketing.
Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelak. Thank you for listening to the show. I would love if you could give us your opinion on how you felt about the show, your experience that you have in regards to what we've been talking about. I am having an absolute blast, but your input is like dynamite on that explosion. So give us your input. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Give us everything you got. We love it. Thanks. I hope you're having an awesome day. Welcome to the Business Ownership Podcast, brought to you by Awareness Strategies, helping you navigate the waters between entrepreneurship and ownership. Hey there, peeps. This is Michelle Nedelak, and I'm super glad that you're here with us today because I am here with my most amazing guest, Jason. Jason, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me, Michelle.
Awesome. So give everybody the highlight of who you are and what you do for business.
Well, you know,
I don't know if you're allowed to start.
It's changed so many times over the years, but essentially I spent the last 25 years of my life working with the Fortune 500, taking groups of high potential individuals and transforming them into a single unified high performing team that can accomplish significantly more together than they were individually, by teaching them how to focus their efforts only on things that improve customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, and profitability. So we usually go in and at first help them think differently, because a lot of groups that are considered cost centers like IT or marketing or HR, they're like, oh, we don't do that. We don't do increased profitability. We don't do increased customer satisfaction. Like, we keep the lights on. And I'm like, I get it. You're not doing increased customer satisfaction or profitability or team member satisfaction, but I can help you. And so we first help them make this shift in thinking, and then we help them adopt our best practices for operation and mission-based work to where they actually do become epicenters for growth within their businesses as opposed to just cost centers. So, like, if I were to sum it up, I'm in the business of helping people get stuff done. I'm not sure if you're like a rated R or a PG podcast.
This one, I'm assuming people are listening to while they're driving their kids to school. I have no clue what they're doing with it, but that's my assumption.
That's the goal. Those are your people.
Well, so I totally want to get into kind of the hows and whys of what you do, but I also want to talk to first of the hazard of not doing what you do. So most companies will run as HR does HR. That's their thing. That's a gamut. That's what they care about. IT does IT, and that's what they care about. What is the danger, hazard, cost to doing that?
Well, even Google can't set money on fire anymore, right? Like, we watched for 25 years these large tech companies being able to experiment and do whatever they wanted because they had a surplus of cash. That all ended right around COVID, which is why we've seen all these mass layoffs. Most other companies have never had margins even remotely close to, like, let's say a Google, manufacturing companies, medical device companies, right? Like booksellers, makers, and so they have a need to run an effective business, and to run a healthy, effective business, they need cash. More importantly, when a business hires people, what people don't recognize is they're buying more time, right? And so I look at it, and most boards of directors and most CEOs look at how that time is spent as the same as spending money. So if that time is spent being busy, that's not being spent as effectively or efficiently or in a healthful way as if that time is being spent on things that improve customer satisfaction, because that's critical to a business. Team member satisfaction, critical to a business.
I'm going to stop you there. Customer service is critical to a business. You know that. I know that. As a consumer, I feel that. Going into a lot of businesses, I don't get that they get that. Like, so talk to me about just that. Just nail that nail on the head. Why is customer satisfaction important to a company's bottom line? Because that's really all I give a shit about anyway.
Because I think we all kind of get that, right? If your customers aren't satisfied, they're going to
Yeah.
go somewhere else, right? And there's competition, right? So I think we all get that. However, your point is a lot of people and companies don't, they'll say they get it, but they don't operate like they get it. And this is a fascinating thing about human nature. The people say something, and what they say doesn't necessarily translate to what they do, which is why it's really important to not measure effectiveness by what people are saying. It's important to measure effectiveness by what they're doing. And there's often a disconnect. And it's, by the way, it's human nature. So when I go in, and basically I'm Captain Obvious, because what did I just say? Improve customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, profitability. You know what everybody says when I say that? Duh. But, and then on the other side, they go, but we don't do that. We do IT, we do HR, we do marketing, right? So they say that they recognize it, but it doesn't translate into their actions. So I get to be the guy that says, okay, you say it's important, and then you say you don't do that, and I'm here to help you do that because you can do that. Let me show you how. They just need to be shown how. Everybody in IT is doing what everybody in IT has always done. Everybody in marketing is doing what everybody in marketing has always done. The executives that are running these companies, they don't know enough about IT to help them trans or transform into an epicenter of growth, because IT is doing what they've always seen IT do. And so they don't like it. It's like a necessary evil. They're like, oh my God, we spent all this money on IT. Some companies, so that's not that I'm generalizing, it's not fair, because some companies do see their IT department as a catalyst for growth. Like they're tech forward. And I don't just mean technology companies, right? Like companies that leverage technology in their business are doing much better. Like are doing much better than companies that are just using technology to keep the lights on to run their supply chains, et cetera. The same with HR. We give all this lip service about the human beings in our organization being the most important, but if you've ever interacted with an HR department, and I apologize to my customers at the Society of Human Resource Management if you're listening to this, but a vast majority of people in HR don't seem to like the people. They seem to be there to write up the people. They seem to be there to like anything anybody says, HR says, but you can't do that. There could be a lawsuit. We could get sued. They're the don't do anything because we could get sued department, which is the opposite of the bring the human beings in and help them be productive department, which is what I would think you would want a department that is rebranded themselves as the people department, right? So it like it people, humans are funny in that we don't always connect what we're saying to the appropriate action. And that's fine, because in those cases, we just need somebody to help us do that, somebody to teach us, to connect what we're saying we want with what we're doing so we can get the outcomes that we need. Vision, vision drives behavior. Behavior drives outcomes. Human beings fundamentally want to be successful at home with their families, their friends, and at work. So when I see people saying one thing and doing something, I get to see this because somebody's called me and said, Jay, we're not getting the outcomes we think we need. Can you come fix our operations management? Can you come fix our project management? They're asking me to come fix behavior, but I can't fix behavior until I fix vision. So I sit down and I say, okay, what are you asking them for? And usually they're asking them for the quarter inch drill bit. They're asking them for IT. They're not going to them and saying, hey, you know what we need you guys to do? We need you guys to figure out a way that we can communicate to do business anywhere without anything frustrating our ability to communicate, right? Cybersecurity, they're the don't do anything group, right? They're the we got to lock it down because the bad guys are going to get in. Don't ask us to make anything available between building and building because somebody get breached. They think it's their job to protect their customers, and their customers think it's their job to protect them when in fact, that's not at all their job, because they can't protect them. They can't shut it all down. Their job is to minimize any disruption to business continuity. Their job is to eliminate any frustrations that might get in the way of these people doing commerce. And in some ways, that should be done by looking at it as an enablement. We're an enabler, not a shut it downer, right? And so a lot of times people think about their job as, they'll say I'm in the HR business. They'll say that I'm in the IT business. And I say, you know what business your company needs you to be in? The business of building single, unified, high-functioning teams that get things done that matter. That's the business your company needs you to be in, and I get it. They need you to use your IT quarter-inch drill bit. They need you to use your IT tool to do that, but you're not in the business of IT. You're in the business of growing the company and supporting the team members in that company, not the business of IT, not the business of HR, not the business of marketing. Those are just their tools. It's not the business that they're in.
Right. So when you have an HR department and they're getting instructions from the uppers going, okay, we can't have this kind of behavior. We're going to get lawsuits. We got to shut this down, shut it down now. HR goes in, they go shut it down, da da da. They're doing the job. Yes or no, sir. Three begs, full, sir. And how do you then come in and you don't have to use this particular example, you can use any one you want, but then they go, okay, well, shutting down people's behavior isn't exactly opening them up to creativity and all the fun things that make people profitable and human. So how do you match and mirror that whole gamut?
So so we ascribe to a concept of transformational leadership. And we've heard servant leadership, and we had to get servant leadership because leadership, everybody lost faith in the leaders. They were toxic. They were basically command and control bosses. So we've got all these terms. The big difference between all of them and transformational leadership is that transformational leadership isn't reacting to the future because we're focused on creating the future. So we're not looking at solving the problems at hand, putting out the fires, and then, ooh, the fires are put out. It's cool. We'll wait until there's the next fire, which is most styles of management. We're constantly asking ourselves and our customers, what do you really want? Where do you want to go? Like, what's next for your business? And a great example, so let's say a mid-sized company is growing and they decide to adopt acquisition as a growth strategy. So they make their first purchase. They've never purchased anything before, so they forgot to tell IT. They were like, it'll be fine. We'll get the acquisition done, and then we'll tell them. Well, the problem is now you've got these two IT machines from two different companies that don't know how to talk to each other, and you've got all these team members that need to be able to talk to each other, right, to get this acquisition off on the right foot. And if it's a public company, the very first time they do this, it's kind of a cluster, and the stock goes down. Okay, so what inevitably happens, usually, to give credit where credit is due, another acquisition will happen, and IT will be like, "Oh my God, why didn't you tell us? What are you doing to us?" Without IT, and so they'll solve that problem, and it's painful. What a transformational leader would do after the first one, they weren't told about, they didn't see it coming. They'd go to the business and say, "Hey, question for you. There going to be more of these coming? This is a new strategy. Are we doing this? Are we doing this?" And when the business says yes, they'd say, "Okay, cool. So we need to become a team that is adept at integrating the acquired companies. So we're not just an IT team anymore. We're in the acquisition business." And so kind of looking at, instead of being like, "Hey, we're in IT, what's your company trying to do? Where's it going?" Because they're telling you, they're saying, "We're going to do this, we're going to acquire this, we're going to build this." So instead of waiting for them to ask you, right? "I would like my eggs over medium," or "I would like my eggs over hard." You go to them and you say, "Hey, look, it looks like you're starting to work out. How about we start making you healthy food?" I mean, silly analogy, but go to them and say, "Hey, you did this thing, and this is different than what you've done before. It's indicative of a change in business direction. Where are we at?" And if they say yes, you start working on getting ahead of that, right? So create what you want as opposed to just waiting for people to place orders with you. And that's a big mind shift. And here's sadly, a lot of times even sales divisions, they know what they need to do, but they wait for their company to come to them and say, "Head this direction, go this direction. We want these types of customers," right? So not only are we working with these divisions to take them from a bunch of individuals assigned to a specific group and help them work to teach them to work together like a high performing sports team, and we teach them to focus on things that are important to the business and do nothing else. Focus on improving customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, and profitability. The third thing that we do is we teach them to adopt a proactive rather than a reactive mindset. Don't wait for it to happen to you. Look ahead, because leaders see what's next so their teams can make what's new.
Nice. So when it comes to kind of the salespeople going, okay, we need to go in this direction. This client is profitable. They love us. They appreciate us. Hey, I need marketing to back me on this. And they're like, "Oh, well, we're focused on doing this still. Our clients need this. Our current clients need this." And it's like, yeah, but like, work with me. How do you put out the current fires and tame the alligators and focus on what you want to create at the same time?
That's a fantastic question. So, how this usually works, they call us, they're not getting the outcomes they think we need. Here's what we know from 25 years of work, that at least 50% of what they're working on, they can't justify that it's improving customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, or profitability. So we go in, and they don't have it all captured either. They know that their people are working on a whole bunch of things. The executives kind of at a high level know what the most important things are. And so we'll sit down with the division, take IT, we'll sit down with them and we'll just capture everything that they're working on, all the work that's going on in the different parts of IT, networking, cloud services, customer service, right? And then we start at the top. Okay, hey, how does this initiative improve customer satisfaction, team member satisfaction, and profitability? It starts real slow because they don't know. So we ask a lot of questions, we help them get there, and my job is to either help them get there or get them to cancel it. So what we've found is that we, on average, we can prove, and now we know why and how 50% of that is going to improve one of the three pillars, if not all three. And by the way, it can't be at the expense of one of the others. You can't improve customer satisfaction at the expense of profitability. You can't improve profitability at the expense of customer satisfaction, and vice versa, right? So we've got a whole list of things that we know will do that and how they will do that, and the rest we cancel. And then we take all of those human beings that were working on all this other stuff and we refocus them on things that we know will improve those things. It creates velocity to growth for their business. So the question that you were addressing is the age old, well, we want to do all these things, but we've got all these fires and we can't get to it. So you know what? The only way we can get to this is if you give me more people. So most people think to get more work done, you need more people. We believe more people creates complexity. And so my job isn't to help you add more people. My job is to help you eliminate complexity and take the people that you have and focus them on things that matter. So that's how you overcome that problem, by doing less.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.
So I am super excited to hear an example of a Cinderella story about clients.
Here's a quick and easy one.
Yep.
We had a Fortune 500 come to us and they said, listen, we want to roll out this diversity, equity, and inclusion program. And here's why we want to do it. And here's all the things that we need done. And we want to measure all these things. And as usual, they came to us and they asked us to use a tool. But that there's a reason that they want to use the tool, but they're so focused on implementing the tool, we had to kind of get to the reason. So we asked a whole bunch of questions. And we came back, we talked amongst ourselves, we thought, and we went back to them and we said, listen, we're really excited about this project, but we don't think what you're really trying to do is implement diversity, equity, and inclusion. What you're trying to do is create a culture that recognizes and respects each other's humanity. And they went, yeah, because what we know is if we let them roll out DEI, they would have. And we knew that we needed to use DEI, but there was also more that they need to do than just DE and I to create a culture that recognizes and respects each other's humanity, that's thriving, right? That's really taking advantage of this diversity as opposed to just being diverse. So if you roll out DEI and that's your whole purpose, you're going to do it and you're going to measure. We've got this kind of people and these kind of people and this kind of people and that kind of people. And you know what? Nobody's saying these things. Everybody's saying these things. Everybody's respecting this and everybody's respecting that. But how does that improve productivity? How does that improve team member satisfaction, customer satisfaction, or profitability? What they were really trying to do was eliminate the internal conflicts and bring people together, as I like to say, into a single unified high functioning team by hiring people that naturally recognize and respect each other's humanity, by cultivating an internal culture with the people that exist through education and programs that recognize, respect, and even celebrate each other's humanity, and quickly exit those that can or won't. And so the why, as Simon Sinek likes to say, nobody can take credit for the why. You got to give it to Simon. The why wasn't D and I. The why was that they wanted to improve their culture.
Nice, which I wholeheartedly agree that all companies should be looking at, because it is a foundation and the function of the creativity, the growth, the innovation, and ultimately profitability that the company's going to have. Awesome. I know our listeners are going to want more from you. How do they start that journey with you?
So I'm the founder of 120 VC, which is the company that goes in and builds these single unified high functioning teams. The quickest and easiest way to get to me is jasonscottleadership.com.
Excellent. So we will, of course, have that link in the show notes. So go ahead and scroll down, click on the link, open up a new browser because we're not done yet. So, Jay, I get to ask you, at what point in life did you know you're especially kind of crazy enough to think that you could become an entrepreneur?
That's you ask some interesting questions.
Like, I have no idea.
So when I did it, I was 27 years old, and I didn't really think about it, as most things leading up to 27 years old. I just was like, I see a problem, I see an opportunity, I want to do it. And when, I'm a high school dropout. I had 4 years of experience outside the military when I started the company. And in looking back, I had no business starting a company. I had no business peddling to the Fortune 500. How I survived is mind-blowing. And it wasn't until years later that I thought, well, these are the reasons I would actually want to be an entrepreneur, right? So it kind of happened for me backwards. I did it to make money. I did it to be awesome. My purpose I found probably 15 years ago, just before I had kids, which is to inspire people to reach for their potential. And that's really because here I'm running a business, which is hard, as I'm sure you know. I'm dealing with the Fortune 500 and I'm helping them solve their problems. And it's hard. And, making good money and being awesome after a while just wasn't fulfilling. So I was like, what else could what else is there? And I realized really quickly when I could help somebody have that light bulb moment and then apply that light bulb moment, like to making a difference on their team, to their team. Because here's the deal, you know what leaders do, good leaders? They build winning teams, and people on winning teams aren't stressed out. They're not worried about whether they're going to keep their job. Their economic prosperity is not in question. They're not answering their phone at dinner. They're not working weekends, right? So effective leaders build winning teams, and people on winning teams are happier. People on struggling teams are miserable. And so to me, I was like, hey, I'm naturally good at helping people get stuff done. I'm naturally good at getting stuff done. That's not a common strength. And I was doing that and I was making money and I was awesome, but it wasn't as fulfilling as helping other people have those light bulb moments and build high performing teams, and just watching those teams thrive. I have my favorite and saddest moment with every single client is when I start showing up to our coaching meetings and they're smiling and they're happy and they're grateful and we have nothing to talk about. And it's great, it's awesome, but I'm like, I have nothing to do. And then here's what happens. My monthly coaching session comes up and this came up and they have to move it. And then like 3 or 4 months will go by and I'm like, dude, listen. And I'm Southern Californian, so the term dude is gender neutral. I'm like, dude, I get it, everything's good right now. And so you're blowing me off. I was like, but something's around the corner. We have to pick something and we have to keep working on it, or you got to let me go, which I don't want because I become attached. So my happiest and saddest moment is when I reach that point where they're happy and they don't have anything to talk to me about. And so I'm basically out of a job.
I love it, and in the sense that I understand 100%. And it's good to know we are comrades in arms. You have been absolutely awesome. Any last words for our peeps?
Yes. Learning something and mastering something are two different things. Like learning is cerebral, mastering requires practice. What most people don't recognize is the first stage of mastering anything is incompetence. And human beings want to be successful. We don't like to feel incompetent. Brene Brown says, We seek pleasure and retreat from pain. What I want you guys to do the very next time you've decided to master something and you find yourself in that incompetent phase, trust yourself, keep at it, and you'll transcend it. Don't give up. Just one time, commit to yourself to not giving up. You'll transcend it, and then you'll know the next time you can do it. You can get through it. You can master anything that you're willing to put the time in to master.
Love it. You're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Jay. I appreciate it, and I know how valuable it is.
Zoom high five, Michelle. Thank you for having me. Awesome.
Peeps, thank you for being here with us today. Be sure to subscribe to the show, share it with your friends. We love helping entrepreneurs grow.
Are you running a business over 7 figures but still struggling with technology headaches? Pay attention, you do not want to miss this offer. This podcast episode is brought to you by Awareness Strategies, who is offering a custom-built digital adoption roadmap for anyone running a business over 7 figures who's wanting to grow their business in the next 5 years. And it's not just a roadmap, they offer full implementation as well if that scares the out of you. Check out awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap for more details today. The link's in the show's notes. Don't regret not doing this. Do it now. That's awarenessstrategies.com/roadmap.